What's good, everybody? Welcome back to TWR. My name is Tavian, and this is my world of reptiles. I hope y'all are doing well and taking care of yourselves. So today, it's been a while since I actually talked about my African house snakes, so I figured I would just go ahead and kind of pull them out a little bit one by one, show them off, talk a little bit about them. But also, something happened with one of my female, with my female African house snake that I didn't get around to sharing it, and it happened a while ago. I never shared it, but it is a big part of my development with keeping her, so I definitely want to share that. So I'm going to share that a little bit later on in the video. But for now, I'm just going to start off with just kind of pulling them out, showing them off to you, talking a little bit about, what I'm noticing with their development and their growth, and just like all that, and their attitudes and all that. So, who am I going to start with today? I'll start with the Baku. Baku is my male African house snake, and he, I believe, might be the smallest of them all. He's about the smallest of them all, and he's definitely the most flighty. He just kind of flails around like a madman the moment you touch him, every time, no matter what. So, but yeah, there he is. And he is looking really beautiful, but he's growing really slowly. Unlike the others, he will not eat when it comes time when he's like in shed. So anytime he's gone into shed, he just goes off a feed for like all of 2 weeks. And so he's definitely been growing significantly slower than the rest of them. So he's definitely on the smaller inside, and it's not any closer really to breeding size than he was before, just because he just hasn't been eating or growing as fast. But also neither has my female African black, my female black African house snake. They both have been growing reasonably slower compared to my Cape male, who I'm going to show you here in a minute. But yeah, so this is Baku, and he is small and still growing though. But he eats when he does eat. But if he's in shed, he will not eat. But yeah, there's a big difference. Like, you can see him now, and you can see how, he's dark. And like I said, the black is not like the Mexican black king snakes, but it is reasonably dark. And it is kind of almost like a really dark, steely gray, more than anything, like a really dark gray. But he's absolutely stunning. However, when him and the female looked a lot alike when they first came in, but they don't look so much the same anymore, actually. Let me get the female out real quick and show you her, because she was looking a lot different. And I know when I first got African house snakes, and I was talking to the person from the Olympic Reptiles about the black African house snakes, one of the things that she was like sure to let me know was that the black African house snakes can go do a color change. So like, they may look black at some point, and then like to go through a weird color change as they mature. Some don't and some do. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. She was the only person I ever heard say that. I had done a lot of research before even speaking to her, and nothing else had ever mentioned this about their color change, except for her. And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll see what happens when it happens. But this female now is not looking the same as that male. I'll probably end up pulling him back out just so that I can show him side by side. But this is the female now, and I don't know, she is way lighter. She almost has like the slightest greenish tint to her. So definitely not as black as she's much more of that steely gray that I was trying to talk about that I see in the male, but just more gray. Like, she's like, I don't know, it's like a hodgepodge, like greenish, brownish, like grayish, like coloring to her that the male does not have. Like, they looked similar when they first got here, but now she looks so much different compared to the male. I know, he's like, I'm fed up with you, stop touching me. But look at that. Like, I mean, she's obviously grown a hell of a lot more than he has. But, I mean, that makes sense. She is a female. And she's I've been definitely packing her with some food, trying to get her ready for breeding, and other things, which I will talk about here in a little bit. But, I mean, look at him. He's really dark still, and compared to her, she's really green, like oh, like I said, almost gray grayish, greenish, like brownish. Like, I don't know, the colorations completely changed. The bigger she got, the more her colors changed. Like I said, she used to look just like him, and now she looks like this. And I don't know why that is, but it's weird because this is definitely far further from black now than this is. So the whole black African house snake thing is definitely contested. There's definitely some color variations when it comes to African black house snakes, and apparently they go through a color change, and this is an example of said color change because she went from looking like him to looking like this, and in the same period of time with the same, well, because about the same amount of eating. Like I said, he went off eating. So I wonder, though, as he gets bigger, if he like really starts to actually eat more consistently, and he finally gets to the same size, if he too will have that change of color, or if he'll hold his darkness. That'll be interesting to see. I don't know, won't know until I get there. But yeah, definitely wanted to talk about that change because that was something I noticed. Super interesting differences between the colors, but both of these are supposed to be African house snakes, and they both looked like this when they first got here, and now there's this major change. So, but yeah, that is Mama Odie, my female black African house snake here. She is definitely not one to be messed with. When she has a tude, she has a tude. Of all of them, she's the only one who's ever bit me. I mean, it didn't feel like nothing because her mouth is so small, but she has bitten me, and I was surprised. But she was just not trying to have it, and I think there's a reason for that when that happened, which I will get to in a minute, but I don't want to sidetrack from just talking about them, so I'm going to go ahead and get the mail back in here, like so. Boom, boom, there you go. Baku, Baku, Baku. Mama Odie, you ready to go home? Yes, I promise you that will be the last time I bother you today. That'll be the last time I bother you today. There you go, Mama. But I will talk about you here in a little bit, but I won't bother you. Alright, and last but not least, let's bring out my Cape mail. Boom, 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 boom. You know, this is Charmander here. He is a stunning Cape male African house snake. Absolutely, really beautiful. And I believe head for albino. Yes, and his head for albino is also. So if I were to, get him mated up with that female, there could be something happening with that, but it wouldn't do anything crazy because she's an black African house snake, and then him going in with her, I don't think it's going to produce anything super wild. I think it's just going to be either black African house snakes or capes or T albinos. Like I don't really know. I'm new to the breeding process, and we will see what happens when that happens. But of them all, I feel like he has had the most consistent weight gain. He's just like really dense, he's really sweet, he's really calm too. Like of all of them, he's the chillest of them all. He's never been striky, he's never been like super huffy. He was a bit flighty when he first got here, but he has definitely calmed down a lot. But yeah, it seemed for a minute there like this guy was just like taking the cake when it comes to the growth factor. Like he was just growing like a champ, and he has been a consistent eater. He is not hold back at any point, whether he is in shed or not. He will eat. That is not a problem. He does not refuse food. He is looking absolutely amazing. Both him and Mama Odie have been growing a lot, and visibly, and when I hold them, they are the ones that are definitely, I can physically see that growth as well as on the scale. I don't remember those scales, their weights right now on the top of my head. I ended up switching those to just like a notebook, which I don't have right here near me, but both of them have grown a lot since they've gotten in. When I last weighed my female, though, there was some weirdness happening with that one, which I will talk about again here in just a second. But yeah, so this is Charmander here, and he is super stunning. I really do love these guys. I mean, they're bug-eyed, just like demeanor, just their colorations, their markings are really great. I really do love them a lot. I'm trying to see if I can get this to focus where I want it to, but no. Alright, cool, that's fine. But anyway, yeah, so that is Charmander. I mean, I just love him. He's my favorite. Don't tell the others. he's just so calm and he's so chill and he's so easy to handle and so easy to engage with. Like the other ones, the female mama can just be testy at times. Mama Odie can just be testy at times, and Baku is just a damn space spaz case. He just runs all over the place and he just doesn't know how to calm down. And that's fine, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. That's their behaviors. They all have individual different behaviors, and even though they're all the same species, they're all gonna have their own individual little quirks and personalities. And so this one here has definitely the most calmest of them all when it comes to personality wise. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put him away, and then let me tell you a little bit about this situation that happened with Mama Odie a little while ago that I never shared. That was a big thing, but it was, I obviously have not been active, so I just did not have the energy to really do that. So, but yeah, a little while ago, I went through just a big funk where I was doing kind of bare minimum with myself and my animals, not taking care of myself very well, and taking care of my animals to the point of them being, like, alive and, like, not dying and nourished. They were feeding, and I wasn't really doing much engagement with them. Handling-wise, engagement. They were taken care of, they were fed, watered, all those things, but handling-wise and engagement-wise, I just, and even cleaning of their enclosure-wise, I was just not fully all the way there with doing all of that. So, there's a period of time I did not really even touch any of these for, like, multiple months. And I mean, I opened them up, I poured water in, I was spot clean if I happen to see something that's right there in my eye when I first glanced in, but otherwise that was the extent of it. My mental health was just that bad. So I really wasn't engaging with them. So when I finally came out of that, I was like, all right, cool, I'm getting here. I'm gonna do some good old proper cleaning of these guys and engage with them a little bit. When I went to open up Mama Odie's tub and I pulled everything out, I discovered something shocking. There were, I believe, I can't remember the exact number, 4, 5, 6, I believe, 6 eggs, 6 dried up eggs in this tub. Over time, I ended up finding 6. I found like a couple at a time, and then I found more, and 6 dried up eggs that she had at some point developed and laid, and then they just dried up because they never got put in an incubator or the proper temps or any of that stuff, so they just didn't have any humidity, and so they just like dried up, and I don't even know how long they were there, but they were for sure decimated. Like, they were so mummified. Not really, but they were just absolutely dried up. And I was so shocked. I was just like, whoa, what? First of all, wow, how damn, like, I went this long without holding my animals or engaging the fact that, like, she went through a whole term with being gravid and then having the eggs, and I missed all of that. So that was a big thing that I had to process and deal with and feel guilty about and beat myself up for a couple of days. But and then I was just like, whoa, okay, hold on. I never put her with any of my males. She was too small when she got here, and she is still too, like, by the time when I weighed her then, it looked like she had barely gone up all of maybe 3 ounces. Like, no, 3 grams. 3 grams. She had gone up 3 grams from the last time when I had weighed her in the video where I weighed her several months ago, like a couple of months ago. So, like, I was like, only 3 grams, like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, while everybody else has grown up a lot, she's only gone up 3 grams. So, that doesn't even make any sense. But, like, so I don't know. Maybe it was the fact that she went through this huge thing where she developed eggs and then had them. And so, obviously, and I didn't pump her feeding up any more than normal. So, I didn't really get her beefed up really like that for doing that. And so, her body went through all that. And so, now she's definitely smaller than she probably should be, I feel like, at this size, but also has been growing. And so it was really weird because, like I said, I never put her with any of my females, and so all I can think of at this point is the fact that it has to be a parthenogenesis situation because, like I said, no females ever went in with her, ever. It never happened. They never made contact at all. And so for her to just suddenly actually have eggs, and they were decent sized eggs, they were like that big, like that big, so like almost like what I would expect them to look like when she actually reached size. And so it was really strange development. It's still blowing my mind that she had like decent sized eggs, 6 of them, decent sized eggs without any interaction with the male. And as far as I'm concerned, they didn't at the Olympic reptiles either, because I mean, they told me that she was subadult, meaning if they know that she's subadult, they wouldn't have been breeding her, right? Like, that's not something they would have done. That sounds like they, I mean, as a responsible place, and like the most well-known, like, African house snake place to go. Like, it just didn't seem like something that they would do. So I don't know. Like, my only thought is parthenogenesis, and if so, I mean, that's cool, but it sucks that I missed out on that opportunity to actually be a part of that and actually even see if those eggs could develop into anything, because I just missed it and they were just dried up and long gone by the time I even found them. But that was something that happened, and I never got around to sharing it, but it is a part of the journey with her, and so I want to make sure that that gets documented, so that if I ever need to come back and be like, oh shoot, she had another parthenogenesis thing, or whoa, well look, she had one way back here during this time as well. So I just definitely wanted to get that on record as well, since I was talking about African house snakes today, and showing them off. So yeah, that is Charmander, Mama Odie, and Baku, the African house snakes of the crib of TWR. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video because it's going on long enough. You all take care, love yourselves, love your loved ones, love your reptiles. You all keep spreading those herbs.